Hi everyone, this is Dr. Abby Kramer here, and we're here with episode 1 of Dear Dr. Abby, our segment where I answer your burning health and wellness questions and give you tools and answers to live a radically healthy life. So our first question, I love this question, it comes from Jacqueline from Chicago, Illinois, and Jacqueline says, I just read a Washington Post article on HIIT workouts. HIIT stands for High Intensity Interval Training, and hip pain affecting millennials. As someone who really enjoys these types of classes, I'd definitely be interested in learning more about the long-term impact. Okay, Jacqueline, I love this question and I have a lot to say about the topic. So, HIIT style workouts have really been gaining in popularity. These kind of box gyms are popping up with group exercise setting, which on one hand can be a great thing. It's very motivating for people. People love the competitive edge of being in a group type setting, but it also has drawbacks. So really, I've seen a lot of patients get injured from these types of workouts, and so I want to give you guys some tips that if this is how you want to work out, you can do it in a safer way. So the issues with injuries with these types of training classes really fall into the principle called the Fitt Principle, and this principle comes from anyone that's had training or has a degree in exercise science or physical fitness has learned about this principle. So the acronym goes FITT. So I'm going to take you through them. So F stands for frequency. So this is the perfect time of year to talk about frequency of workouts. We're at the start of the year where a lot of people are getting amped up about their exercise routine, and a problem I see a lot of times is in the new year, people go big or go home. They haven't exercised regularly and they all of a sudden start going to classes every single day. And that just sets you up for injuries. So I'd recommend start slow. Start taking one class a week and see how you feel. Are you incredibly sore? Is something bothering you physically? Are you feeling super tired? Are you having a hard time recovering? Or are you feeling extra anxious or stressed? That's your body telling you maybe it's starting too much too soon. So again, start slow and build up from there. Okay, next is I. That stands for intensity. This is really important. So a lot of times in these group classes, they're high intensity. That's what it stands for. And many people just aren't ready to exercise at that high of a level. So I do recommend, if you want to start these classes, take 4 to 6 weeks before and build up an aerobic base. And by that I mean 3 or 4 times a week, do really low heart rate training for 30 to 45 minutes. Again, for 4 to 6 weeks to help build up that endurance. That way when you start these interval classes, you'll have that base and you'll be able to sustain the workouts. Okay, third is the first T, which stands for time. Now, there's so many different intervals people can use, and when interval training, especially high intensity interval training, or a lot of people have heard of Tabata even, all the intervals can vary by a lot. So typically I recommend as interval training is only about 20 seconds at functioning at 100% effort and around 2 whole minutes to recover. Most of these classes, in my experience, don't give you enough recover time, especially for people that are new to exercising on a regular basis. And that's again when injuries can happen. So I recommend really pay attention to the intervals and how your body's feeling, and if that time they allot for you is enough rest. Last is type, and this to me is the most important of all. These classes often incorporate great movements like hinging, full body squatting, kettlebell swings, lunges, stuff like that. Those are all great movements that I do on a weekly basis in my workouts. However, they're more complex than we think, and so a lot of people perform them with poor form. And when that happens, especially for an hour long and especially at high intensity, that's when injuries show up. So my best recommendation there is to invest in a personal trainer first before you go into these classes that can guide you through the types of movements you'll be doing and make sure you're doing them in a safe and correct way. And when you're in the classes too, as soon as you feel your form start to deteriorate, you're done. Even if there's 10 seconds left in that interval, because at that point, again, is where injuries happen. So an investment in a personal trainer or coach to guide you through that process is actually much less expensive than investing in injuries or healthcare down the road. So those are my tips for high intensity interval training. I hope that gave you guys some great insight. And I'd love to hear some comments. So leave some comments below. Do you do high intensity interval training? How do you prevent injuries? How do you prep your body for that process? And any tips you have for other viewers. And I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see future videos. And also I have a link to my website and blog where you guys can go and get lots of health tips as well. So I hope this video was very helpful, and until next time, stay healthy.